Today we're going to do a very gentle practice, all done on the back, that's going to lead us into reclined tree pose, which is generally a more low-key, easy-going way of doing a pose that's often a fairly challenging standing balance. So, what you'll need for today, oddly enough, is a dish towel or something like it. So here's mine. Here's about how big it is. If you have tight hamstrings, the backs of your thighs, you might actually need something bigger, more like a bath towel. The other thing you'll need, if you're lucky enough to have a yoga block, have that handy. And if you don't, just something about this size. And even a firm throw pillow off of the couch would probably do in a pinch, or a folded blanket. So, if you need to, take a moment, hit pause, go get a couple things, and come back, and we'll be ready to roll. Set those things off to the side, and let's head down onto your back, please. Coming into what's called constructive rest, which is knees bent, soles of the feet flat to the floor. You can do this one of two ways, either feet and knees resting about hips distance apart, or walk the feet out a little ways away from one another, turn the heels out and the toes in, and allow the inner thighs to rest together. So choose the variation that's the most comfortable for you. Place your arms wherever they feel best. Make sure your shoulder blades aren't hugged up around your ears. Let your head be heavy and close your eyes, unless it's not comfortable to close your eyes, in which case leave them open, but just relax your gaze. Give yourself a moment just to settle into your body. And to sense the outline of your body within the room you're in. Bring your attention to the sensation of breath in your body. And for today, could you imagine that the breath is not just a process of your lungs, but picture breathing right across the membrane of your skin. Just as though each individual cell of your body were breathing itself. All right, let's start to coordinate some movement with this breath. So please take your right knee into your chest, clasping your hands either in front of or behind the knee. And if you're not quite able to reach, that would be another great use for the tea towel, would be to bring that behind the thigh instead of your hands. Now for Apanasana, as you inhale, straighten the elbows so the thigh drops away from you. And as you exhale, bend the elbows and hug the thigh back in. So on the in-breath, thigh drops away, you have space for a belly breath. And on the out-breath, elbows bend, and the thigh helps to press the last of the breath back out. Keep going. Now, the next time you bring the knee in towards your chest, same leg, we're moving forward into Supta Padangusthasana. So now as you inhale, stretch the leg up towards straight. And as you exhale, bend the knee and hug it back in. Inhaling, stretching the leg up. It's all right if it doesn't straighten all the way. Exhaling, bending the knee and coming in. A couple more. Now, the next time you stretch the leg up, please stay up. So I'm pushing up through the whole sole of the foot right now. And then I'm going to play with inner and outer rotation of the leg. So meaning I've got the right leg up. Let's turn the right toes inward. So right toes turn to the left, but from all the way up at the hip. So the whole leg is rotating. Come back through center and turn the toes out. So right toes turn to the right, but from all the way up at the hip. Once more in each direction, through neutral, inner rotation, through neutral, outer rotation. And then come back to a balanced position, neither inwardly nor outwardly rotated. And now let go. Might feel good to stretch that leg out on the floor a little bit, bounce it. Bend that knee, stand that foot to the floor, pause. Notice any difference you can already discern between the sides. And now let's take that to the second side. Left knee draws into your chest, clasping behind or in front of the knee with your hands or your towel. For Apanasana, as you inhale, straighten the elbows, thigh drops away from the belly. And as you exhale, bend the elbows, thigh hugs back in. On the inhale, when the leg moves away, it makes space for a relaxed breath into the belly. And as you exhale, the thigh helps to press the breath out. Keep going. Now, the next time the knee comes in towards the chest, let's move on to Supta Padangusthasana. So now as you inhale, stretch the leg up straight. And as you exhale, bend the knee and hug it in. So inhaling, pushing the foot straight up. Exhaling, bending the knee and hugging in. Couple more. Now, the next time you stretch the leg up, please stay up. And let's play once again with inner and outer rotation. So we've got the left foot up, turn the toes in, which means toes turn to the right, but feel that all the way up the leg to the hip. Come back through neutral, external rotation, toes turn out from all the way up at the hip. Come back through neutral. Let's do that once more in each direction. Inner rotation. Come back, outer rotation. Come through center, find a balanced position. And now let go of the leg, stretch it out. Bounce the calf a little. And now bend that knee. Stand that foot to the floor. Pause. Observe. Notice if you've somewhat evened out sensation between your sides. And then windshield wiper the knees a little bit. Both knees drop one way. Both knees drop the other. So this next sequence is what you'll want your block and your dish towel for. So make sure they're nearby. And I'm going to demonstrate this on a block, but it may turn out, if it's uncomfortable for you to have elevation under the pelvis, you can do this flat on your back, nothing under the pelvis. You'll still get the benefit. You'll be fine, in other words. Those of you who are interested in trying this, I would suggest no pillow or folded blanket under the head if you're going to elevate the pelvis. For most of us, that causes a little too much flexion in the neck. Bring your feet about into the position you use for bridge pose. So bridge is feet in, a little closer to the sitting bones than they are for constructive rest. Feet about hips distance and parallel, wider is fine as well. And now I'm going to bring my head to center because that's important. When you're elevated in bridge, minimize side to side movement, okay? So no craning to look at me. If my voice doesn't do it for you, pause, come up to seated, watch a bit, all right? Otherwise, I'm going to guide you through it verbally as best I can. Press into your feet, lift your pelvis, take your block or cushion and bring it underneath the sacrum. So the sacrum is the triangle-shaped bone right at the base of the spine. So I want, my rib cage is totally off of the block, and the tip of my tailbone is actually off of the block on the other side, but most of the pelvis is completely on and supported. Relax the space between the shoulder blades back into the floor. Let the whole weight of the pelvis be supported. And now float your right knee up into your chest. And you may find just the support of the block is enough. You don't need to do a lot of additional pulling. If it would feel good, grab on with your hands and give it a little squeeze into your torso. And now we're going to grab that dish towel. And I'm kind of holding it at opposite corners so that I can swing the rest of it across the sole of my foot. So I am demonstrating. I have as much of the sole of my foot covered by the towel that I can. Now I'm stretching the foot straight up for the ceiling. I have the hands walked up as high as they'll go. So the arms are essentially straight, but the shoulder blades once again drop back toward the floor. So the benefit here is that you have some kind of tactile feedback in the sole of the foot. So press the base of the big toe right up into your towel. And now press the base of the baby toe. And now the center of the heel. And now can you press all three of those points, big toe, baby toe, heel, up, lifting evenly up into the towel. Now your last option here, if you would like, is come up on the left heel and slowly stretch that leg along the floor towards straight. It is fine if it doesn't straighten all the way. Pay attention to the rest of your body and the signals it gives you. If anything tenses up, go back to a bent left knee. Otherwise, if you have both legs extended out straight, bring your awareness to your inner thighs. And with awareness on your inner thighs, balance inner and outer rotation of both legs. Okay, rebend that left knee, stand that foot to the floor. Release the towel, stand that foot to the floor. Pause back in supported bridge, feel your breath. All right, let's try the other side. Left knee drops in towards your chest. Either just the support of the block and the weight of the leg holding it there, or your hands can come and give a little extra squeeze. Now take your towel. I'm hanging on to kind of opposite corners, and then kind of hammock up. Sometimes noises help. There, it did. Hammock up as much of the sole of the foot as you can. And walk your hands up high on the towel. And feel if you got a lot of the sole of the foot in contact, you get this good feedback about foot positioning. Press the base of the big toe up into the towel. And now the base of the baby toe. And now the center of the heel. And now all three of those points rise evenly into the towel. Relax the space between your shoulder blades. The final option you can add here is come up on the right heel and slide it out. So the right leg is moving towards straight. It is fine if it doesn't get all the way there. Bring your attention to your inner thighs on both legs. And with that awareness, balance inner and outer rotation of the legs. Okay. Please rebend that right knee. Stand that foot to the floor. Release the towel. Stand that foot to the floor. Pause. This is supported bridge. Now, we're getting ready to release, but a lot of the magic in bridge is in the roll down, so let's resolve not to miss it. Press into your feet, lift up to get off of your block or cushion, move your block out of the way, stay lifted for a moment if you can, and now slowly roll all the way to the ground. And when you're to the ground, just scoot your feet just a little bit a ways away from you. Let your back relax into the floor. Pause. Feel. And now let's warm up the hip joint just a little bit here. Starting with the right leg, please cross your right ankle just over your left knee like this. I have my right foot a little bit flexed, so it's awake, the sole of the foot is spreading. And now first, with the ankle still touching, I'll point the knee in, more towards my torso. This is moving towards internal rotation. And then I'll point the knee away, and that's moving it into external rotation. Do that again, but now add a little help. So now I'm bringing my hand here, and I'm kind of pressing. So pressing the thigh toward the midline. And then I'm using my fingertips to press the thigh away. Let's do that once more in each direction. Pressing it in and pressing it away. And release and change sides. Left ankle crosses over, left foot a little bit flexed, meaning I'm pushing out through the heel, I'm spreading the toes. And now this knee comes to point in toward my torso, more in internal rotation. And now it drops away from my torso. This is more external rotation. Now let's give a little assistance from the hand. So the knee points in, this hand comes and presses a little bit toward the midline. And then when the knee drops away, fingertips encourage it to go a little further. Once more in each direction. Okay. Release plant the feet to the floor, come back into the windshield wiper. That should feel pretty good. Okay, we are ready to come into reclined Vrikshasana, reclined tree pose. So it starts here in constructive rest. I'd suggest with feet and knees about hips distance apart. Have your block or cushion off to the right, and you'll find out why in just a moment. Let's begin by stretching the left leg out straight on the floor and push out into the ball of the big toe, ball of the baby toe, center of the heel. Push out evenly just like that towel wore there. And now drop the right knee out to the right and move the sole of the foot towards or touching the inner left thigh. Now, if this leg feels any strain from kind of hanging out in space like this, that's what your block or cushion would be for, to come up underneath and create some support so you're not hanging on the joint so hard. Once you're in this position, balance inner and outer rotation on that left leg. So the left leg is very active. Bring your hands into what's called Anjali Mudra, essentially a prayer position at your heart. Now keep the left leg reaching out long as you slowly stretch the arms overhead. So they're at least shoulder distance apart. They may be wider. Please bring the arms to a place that respects the range of motion in your shoulders. They do not have to be touching the floor. If something touches, let it be your thumbs. Let the fingers be spreading and reaching and the palms turned toward one another. And now mentally check in with your back, especially the back ribs. And if they have kind of hardened and lifted off the floor, relax them back. Last breath here, nice and easy. And now slowly glide the hands back to your heart. Come and get your block as you bring the right knee back up. Switch it off to your side if you liked using it. Bend the knee, left knee. Pause between the sides. Just notice any imbalance you may sense, only having done the first side. Okay, reclined Vrikshasana, second side. Let's start by stretching now the right leg straight out on the floor, pressing out evenly through the base of the big toe, base of the baby toe, center of the heel. Drop the left knee out to the left and move the sole of the foot either towards or touching the inner right thigh. And now this left knee, if the hip or knee feels like it's too much sort of strain on the joints, grab your block or your cushion and create some support so the joint feels, has more integrity. Balance inner and outer rotation on that right leg. Keep stretching out long through the leg. Bring the hands into Anjali Mudra at your heart center. And slowly stretch the arms overhead, at least shoulder distance. Wider might feel better to you. Palms facing one another, fingers spread. If something grazes the floor overhead, let it be your thumbs. And then check in with the backs of the ribs. And if they have hardened and lifted up, let them relax back as you go along. One more breath here. And slide your hands back in towards your heart. Remove the block, bring that knee in, bring the other knee in to meet it. If a little movement calls to you, by all means, do that. But eventually, let's meet back how we began, in your choice of variation of constructive rest. Noticing how your body feels, the quality of your mental state. And coming back once more to that sense of a cellular breath, as though your skin were porous enough that the oxygen could just cross right over that porous membrane. If this is feeling good to you, please stay and lie with your breath as long as you like. Get up nice and slowly before you go about your day. Thank you very much for taking this time to practice with me. I'll see you soon.